Alright, this game was even until the fourth, and a lot of that was because of the similarities on both sides, starting with their primary ball handlers basically creating everything. For the Pistons, it was CADE or Dennis controlling their offense, and the two were exploiting the Clips' drop, so both of them were eating that space to get to their spots, or to find their bigs in the pocket or on a drop-off. But it wasn't just in the half court, because the two were pushing pace as much as possible, so they were getting a good amount of runouts throughout, and that was one of the main differences on the night. They were capitalizing on the Clips' misses or turnovers, and everything was downhill, so they were living in the paint, but they had to, because they weren't getting anything from deep. The others couldn't make their looks at all, and most of their trades were really coming from Dennis making the Clips pay for going under his screens, or him and CADE creating for one another on those sprays. That was even the same situation for the Clips, because Harden and Bogey were controlling their offense, and the two were exploiting the Pistons' drop, so both of them were creating looks for one another the same way. But when the Pistons' adjustment was to have their bigs higher, or even show, the two were still making the right reads, and a lot of that was to Zoo in the pocket, so he was involved just as much. He opened up the swing on the short, got to eat on the rolls, or whenever someone found him on a drop-off, and he was getting post-dumps, so he got to play his fair share of ones. That was another main difference on the night, because their offense was being reduced to that whenever it got stagnant, but they made their shots, and it started with Harden in the first. He was basically frying anyone not named Asar, because whenever he got a mismatch on a switch or a cross match in transition, he took full advantage of it and was either getting a bucket or a whistle every time. Those two fouls from deep early should have been a sign of one of those nights, because he was getting one or the other consistently throughout, and between him, Bogey, and Zoo, they were generating enough offense to win, so it came down to defense. Once the fourth started, they finally got stops by shrinking the floor, because those driving lanes weren't as open from all the showing, and they weren't giving up anything at the rim, so that just forced the Pistons to play on the perimeter. They had to settle from deep, and they made some shots because Malik finally showed up, but those weren't going to compensate for the bricks, or even worse, the turnovers. They had a stretch of those compounding that led to the Clips going on a crucial 10-0 run, and that cost them, because that was the control the Clips maintained till the end. A couple of them came from Dunn's ball pressure in the quarter, so he was locking down on one end, and that was leading to Harden or Bogey getting theirs on the other. But the most crucial one was probably the late steal Harden got, because he actually missed his chance to get 50 at the line prior, so he was fortunate to get that, and then fortunately got Thompson to inadvertently put him at the line for a redo. Just watch the tape.
You better have caught it. He didn't want to call it.